Hey, it's Mike over at Cross Country Mortgage. It's time for your Monday morning mortgage update for the week of April the 15th. It is tax day. Get your taxes in by the end of the day so you don't pay a penalty. So what happened last week? What's going to happen this week? How was your weekend? I always try to give you info so that you can go out and talk to your buyers and sellers, give them more impactful information when they ask you about all this crazy stuff that's happening in the market. So my weekend was pretty good. I won a shotgun at the California Waterfowl Dinner. Thank you, Corky, for a great event at your ranch. I got to spend time with my brother who is visiting from Idaho. Great to see Doug. And I competed in the Lemurian mountain bike race, the oldest mountain bike race in the country, right here in Northern California. 350 plus riders, a grueling ride. And we had great weather. It was cool. The rain didn't come till the end. It was wet and it was cold, but man, what a great event. So let's talk about the market. Let's go right to the charts. I want you to see what these look like. We saw an 80 basis point sell-off on the market. That means money flowed out of the bond market and mortgage rates went up. Why? Why did we see this? This is a big shift in 1 week. And you can see on the 10th, big dump in the market. That red candlestick means money's flowed out and rates went up. And the main reason is because inflation was up. Two numbers came out. CPI came out on Wednesday, PPI came out on Friday, and it showed inflation above expectations. Import prices, what we're paying to get stuff from overseas, those prices went up. And Fed members that talk to the media and give interviews and everything, they were very hawkish, meaning that they don't think we're going to cut rates very much this year. 0 to 1 rate cut this year. Maybe we won't see rate cuts till 2025. And this is a big shift from the beginning of the year in January when we were talking about 6 rate cuts in 2024. So all of that combined together gave fear with bond traders. They moved money out of the bond market and rates went up. So what are we looking at this week? We're looking at Fed members again. What are they going to say? We're looking at retail sales and then some geopolitical stuff. So Fed members, this is the last week they can say anything, talk about what they think the economy is doing before the FOMC meeting in May, which is in 2 weeks. So next week they have a blackout. They can't talk. So they're going to put everything they can put out there before the FOMC meeting, which is when the Fed Reserve decides if they're going to raise rates, cut rates, or leave rates alone. They're not going to do anything. They're going to leave rates alone. They're sure not going to cut rates in 2 weeks. But what are the Fed members going to say? Bond traders pay a lot of attention to that stuff. And we know that mortgage rates are determined by the trading of mortgage-backed securities in the bond market. So we pay attention to what the bond market does and what bond traders do. Second thing is retail sales. Those numbers came out this morning before the market even opened up, and they were up. That means money's flowing into our economy. Consumers are spending money buying stuff, but they're not buying more stuff. They're buying the same stuff. They're just paying a lot more money for it. It's still money flowing in. The businesses are still getting stuff, but it's kind of an interesting number. They're not buying more candy bars or more tires or more refrigerators. They're just paying a lot more for the stuff that they're buying. So we have to look at the forest of the trees to see if if we're going to see a reverse back to the dump today. The reason I left this chart up is because you can see this morning on Monday, we saw a big sell-off and rates went up this morning before we even had a chance to lock the interest rate. So we'll see how they really treat the numbers on the retail sales if they kind of see the forest of the trees on that. And then the last thing is geopolitical. A lot of unrest in the Middle East. We've known this. It's been there for a long time. And there's been a big issue with ships getting through the Suez Canal because of all the unrest. So now those ships have been going through the Horn of Africa to get to our ports, and that costs more money, 10, 15 times additional cost to go around the Horn of Africa, longer timelines, more cost, more fuel, all that stuff. So when those ships deliver those products to our ports, our industry has to pay more for those. And those numbers are starting to come out this week. So that's inflationary. If we're paying a lot more for this stuff, it's going to cost more for the businesses to buy it, and they're going to pass that cost down to the consumer. So we're starting this week floating. I mean, we already missed the lock period because retail sales came out so early and the market already moved. Cautiously floating, moving into a locking position if we see any changes. Have a great productive week. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.